Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about fear not. Luke 5, verse 10, and chapter 12, verse 7. There are good Christians who are afraid of dying. Jesus has been there and done that so that we don't have to be afraid. That day he spent 6 hours on the cross for us. Yes, it was a terrible, painful experience that he did not deserve, yet he did it for us. Before that day, there was a curtain in the temple, Matthew 27:51, that separated the sanctuary from the Holy of Holies. The second he died, that curtain tore in two right down the middle. For us, our Holy of Holies is our prayer closet, but there's another Holy of Holies, and that's the throne room in heaven. That curtain between us and God in heaven also tore that day, giving us the privilege of entrance into that throne room by our prayers. The Holy Spirit now resides in us. That makes our body a curtain. When we die, our curtain tears so that our spirit can leave our body and immediately enter heaven. 2 Corinthians 5:6 in the KJV. The reason we can enter is because our soul because our soul is separate, and we are covered by the blood of the Lamb. He chose the nails. By Max Lucado explains it much better. Even though we may not see him, Jesus is right there with us as we die. Some go while they sleep. Others go in some terrible, painful ways. Either way, Jesus is right there holding their hand. For all of us, death is a mystery that we don't understand. Some are afraid of what they don't understand, and that's okay, because all we really need to do is believe. Jesus tells us not to be afraid because he has overcome everything there is to fear in this life. John 16:33. Death allows us to shed our earthly body for that new one that will not wear out. It will also be 100% pain free. This earthly body can be destroyed in so many ways. There's nothing that can destroy the heavenly one. Look at what Paul tells us in Romans 8:38. This live body keeps us on earth. The death of this body brings us into the presence of the Lord, allowing us to finally see him up close and personal. Our first encounter with him down here is when we accept him into our hearts as Lord. Our death is that final earthly encounter and is the final victory of this earthly life. Some are afraid because they don't want to leave their earthly loved ones. That's often because those loved ones are not saved, making them think they are still needed on earth. We cannot save anyone. Only Jesus can do that. Yes, heroic things do happen allowing us more time on earth. Ecclesiastes 3 tells us there's a time for everything under heaven. The first thing on that list is a time to be born and a time to die. Only God knows the time for both of them. You mothers know babies don't always arrive on their due date. When a person has a terminal disease, the doctor can estimate how long they might have left, but only Dr. God knows for sure. He knows the exact number of our days down here. We think death is a bad thing, and it is for those who do not know Jesus. For those who do, it's a good thing because it ends all pain and fear. It means we will never have to see or endure evil again. There will be no hate in heaven, only true, beautiful love the way it's meant to be. Unlike down here, there's nothing to worry about up there. It also brings a reunion with those loved ones who got there ahead of us and a meeting with some we didn't get to meet down here. For me, that means meeting one of my grandmothers, some aunts and uncles, and the baby I miscarried. Am I afraid of death? No. However, I do respect those who are. Only God can remove all our fears. It's my prayer that He will do so for them, knowing He when they ask, He will when they ask Him. It's a leap of faith when we finally release those fears into His hands. It takes courage to make that leap and let go of them. That's part of being set free. What being set free means. It also takes trust in the one who died to set us free. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom from all our fears. All the things there are to fear, death is the hardest one to let go of. There's a time to let go of it. Maybe now is that time for you to let it go. Just lay it at the foot of the cross. If you'd like to know more about helping you with death and dying, this book by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross could be most helpful. I know it helped me when I needed it at the time when my late mother-in-law was just about to pass away. And the Lord gave me this at just about that time. It's not a song lyric. It was written in August of 1975 in Bremerton, Washington, when my late mother-in-law was battling cancer, and the church had just done a seminar on that book I just held up. I went to the seminar so that I could have a better understanding of what she was going through and how I might be of help. A few weeks later, there was a program on the local PBS station about Dr. Kubler-Ross. While watching it, the Lord just began to give me this beautiful poem. Years later, I sent a copy to a dear friend whose mother had died. This friend had a radio program in Dallas on Friday nights called Ordinary People. His wife chose to read the sympathy card with this poem on the program, which came as a complete surprise to me as I listened that night. As you hear it, imagine yourself at the bedside of a departed loved one while they tell you that it's okay because they're ready to be with Jesus. I pray it will bring you comfort. I also had it in the bulletin for my own mom's memorial service in 2012. Death and dying. Though I can't tell you why, I'm not afraid to die. My mind is now at peace, and my soul has found release. Though this body is racked with pain, I feel free and agile again. There's no more anger or fear inside. I know heaven's door is open wide. And I'm not lonely, you see, for I know Jesus is waiting for me. Though this body is very ill, there's one last job I can fulfill. I must help you to know I am at peace and ready to go. As I see you start to cry, I know it's time to say goodbye. Death is not our enemy, for only in death are we at last set free. I'll be gone in a little while, so let me see you smile. There's one last thing I must do, and that's to say, I love you. It's time for our prayers. You may send your prayer requests to heanswerstwo@gmail.com.